word Lord, represented in all capital letters in most English Bibles, is known as the Tetragrammaton. It expresses the combination of these Hebrew letters. This name is countless thousands of years old. It is the most holy name of God, given to Moses at the burning bush, the one that most English translations render as I am. The Hebrew letters sound like this: Yud, He, Vav in the modern Hebrew, or Wah in the ancient Hebrew, and then He. Yud He Wah He is also the forgotten name of God, which Jewish scholars and researchers say has a meaning and a pronunciation that was lost because their ancestors have refused to speak it aloud since about a generation before the Roman destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. Today, Yud He Wah He is most often rendered as Yahweh when written or spoken by Christians and others. It is still never pronounced aloud by Orthodox Jews. The pronunciation Jehovah is an older, less accurate rendition of these letters. It originated with the early German translators of the Hebrew language and their sounds, thus the more Germanic sound of Jehovah. Yud He Wah He. Let's investigate the ideographic meaning of the Hebrew letters, Yud He Wah He. An ideogram is a symbol that represents an idea, like the male and female shaped signs that you see on the outside of public restroom doors. Hebrew letters have had ideographic meanings since the most ancient of times. There are several ideographic meanings for each of the letters. Aleph, for example, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, can mean both ox or bull. Bet, the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet, represents the words house or tent. But in each case, the ideas represented by each of the letters are very closely related. With all of this in mind, using the ideographic meanings of Yud He Wah He, most commonly accepted by Jewish scholars throughout the centuries, the translation of the letters Yud He Wah He of the holy name of God, symbolically speaking, can accurately be translated as Yud, the hand, He, a window or the meaning behold or look, and Wah, a nail. So, symbolically speaking, the combination of these letters can be accurately and most assuredly translated as Yud He Wah He. Behold the hand, behold the nail. When one considers that Yeshua, or Jesus, in Hebrew means Yahweh is our salvation, then the meaning is even richer. Through Jesus, Yahweh provided our salvation. If you don't believe it, behold the hand, behold the nail.
When Jesus was crucified, Pilate wrote a sign that was nailed to the cross. The wording he chose displeased the Jewish leadership, and they asked him to change it. But he refused. There are some very interesting aspects to this incident that are not apparent in our English translations.
Pilate had a notice prepared and fastened to the cross. It read, "Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews." Many of the Jews read this sign, for the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city, and the sign was written in Aramaic, Latin, and Greek. The chief priest of the Jews protested to Pilate, "Do not write the King of the Jews, but that this man claimed to be the King of the Jews." Pilate answered, "What I have written, I have written."
Pilate refused to revise the epitaph he had composed. This may have a lot more significance than is apparent in our English translations. The Hebrew is shown above. Remember, it goes from right to left. What we don't notice in our English translation is that the acrostic made up of the first letter of each word spells out Yahweh, the name of God. If Pilate had rewritten it in the manner the Jews had requested him to, it would not have spelled the name of God. Do you think Pilate realized this? Was it a deliberate jab at the Pharisees? Or was Pilate beginning to suspect that there was more going on here than he previously realized?